This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
And can you see my great? Can you see my presentation as well?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. Let me make it better. Yes, I think it should be better now. Hello again, everyone. My name is Gaurav, and I do take classes on business analyst. Okay, so welcome to this session. Today is going to be interactive session. Okay, so you can ask me any kind of questions you have related to the training, related to the content. Okay, I do have some content to talk about, which will give you fairly good idea about the topic. Okay, so we'll get started. Let me first talk about the subject itself, and then we'll take up any questions that you have at the end. Sounds good?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, what is business analyst? What is BA? Okay, so it is made of two words, right? It's made up of business and analyst, right? So key here is business. Key absolutely here is business. Okay, you might use IT tools, technologies, but your objective as a BA is always how to help business grow. Okay, so business operates under various environmental constraints. Okay, so what is business basically? Now you see the big building at the center of the presentation, right? That's your business. Okay, and it could be anything. It could be a bank, it could be a hospital, it could be a even a non-profit organization, right? So that's their business. The business of a hospital is to treat patient, right? Treat patient, and that's how they make money. Business of a bank is to finance different projects, right? Give loans, and that's their business, right? A shop, a retail store, their business is to provide product at customers' location. That is their business. And every business has to be good at their own business, right? When I mean to say their own business, hospital, they have to provide good care. Okay, the retail store should be able to sell good product at a good rate, good price, right? That is given. Okay, now there is no question about it, right? So you, if a business is not able to fulfill the expectation of their customers, then business is not going to do well. Okay, so they have to do well. Now, but again, if you go back in history, okay, I'm sure most of you would know about Nokia, correct? Nokia, up until I think 10 years back, they had more than 60 to 70% market share in the mobile phone industry. 70% market share globally is a big number, isn't it? Where are they now? They are gone, right? So 10 years back, they were great at doing what they were supposed to do, right? They were supposed to make mobile phones. They were supposed to, help customers talk using wireless services, things like that. And they were best at their business. But what happened? Okay, what happened today? Today we don't even know them, right? It's because, okay, they didn't look at other aspect of business. Okay, see, if you don't provide good business, you are not going to get customer. But if you provide good business, okay, it doesn't guarantee you long-term success. There are other factors which impact your business. Okay, you cannot keep doing what you're doing today. You have to look at what customer would want tomorrow as well. Okay, and that's the study of business analyst. Okay, we don't interfere in day-to-day job. That's not our job. Okay, you bank, you know what you are supposed to do best, but there are constraints under which a business operate. Okay, we call them as input and output constraint. On the left hand side, I've listed some input constraint. Compression is input constraint. What is compression doing? Right? You cannot say that I'm best at it and I don't want to look at my competition. You could be number one, you could be Apple of today, but still, they keep track of what competition is doing, isn't it? What new technologies others are developing, and you have to stay ahead of them, right? If you want to continue to hold the market share, right? So, what happened to Nokia was they didn't look at the competition, right? When Samsung and others came up with smartphone, they ignored it. They didn't take them seriously, right? So you have to track what competition is doing, what vendor is giving you the input. Okay. Again, case of Apple, they don't produce everything, right? They actually have a lot of vendors and they take everything from different vendors, assemble them, and then launch the product in the market. So they are responsible. If you are a business, you are responsible for what kind of materials go into your product. So vendor doesn't give you a good quality product, your product is going to be bad, and you cannot say that. Let's say if Apple phone's screen doesn't work well, right? Let's say it's not that touch sensitive, right? They cannot say that, sorry, no, we don't manufacture a screen, that's not our fault. They cannot, right? When they put their label, they take responsibility for everything, and that's why you have to track the vendor, their performance, they need to have quality control around it. Okay. And ultimately consumer, right? If you sell any, when you bring any product to the market, you need to have someone buying your product. Now, if you take any product, okay, any product in the market, like toothpaste to cards, okay, you have many players in the chain, right? When you right from the sourcing, where there's company that will supply plastic, company that will supply material, the metal, company that will supply rubber. Then there will be companies which will make tire. The company different companies that will make body. You put them together, you make a car. Then you have a transportation guy who will transport everything from one location to another location. You have a showroom. Okay. Now you have all these points, and all these points are cost center, isn't it? All these points are cost center. You are adding value, and value, when you add value to a product, you are increasing the cost. And then finally it reaches to a point where you and I can go and buy. When we buy, that's when we put in money, right? So when consumers buy, that's when money flows into the whole chain. Okay, every chain, right? It goes through multiple chains. You have 4 5 7, you don't know. They would be sourcing from different countries. So there are all these points are adding cost to the product. And as a consumers, when we make the payment, that's when everybody in the chain gets their share. Okay. So you cannot say that, no, I'm going to make this, I don't care about consumers. Probably Nokia thought that way, right? I don't care, I'm going to make this phone, let consumer buy or not, I don't care. So consumer said, okay, we are not going to buy it, and the business got collapsed, right? So as a BA, you have to understand what's the need of consumer. Okay. What is the pain point of consumer? What do they want from your business, right? What competition is doing, what vendors is providing to you. And all this input will be taken as input to your business decision. And not only that, the output also, right? Because when you make a product, you cannot sell to the consumers, you need partners. Okay. Bank needs partners, hospital need partners, ambulance and all these are partners, right? So you also need to know who are your partners. If you do not have partners, let's say Procter and Gamble, and these big companies, Unilevers, if they do not have Walmarts, right, they won't be able to sell product to us. So Unilever, Procter and Gamble, they have to partner with Walmart and other retail stores so that their product can be sent to the consumer. So you need to have partners, okay? And there are multiple partners, right? Your transportation, your retail store. So you need to have a right partner. You cannot ignore the importance of partner in your business. Technology, right? The technology in any field has changed over the years, right? If you are a old time business, okay, you cannot stick with manual process or old technologies because they are slow, expensive, not efficient. New technologies are more efficient, okay, more user friendly, make better quality products. So you need to constantly look out for the new technologies that can impact your business. Okay, and not to forget the legal aspect. You cannot do something which is not legal, right? You cannot ignore the regulatory bodies. Finance body, there's a body to to regulate the finance industry. So you are a bank, you cannot ignore the regulations. You have to follow, whether you like it or not, you have to follow those rules, right? Political situations, right? Some countries may not have stable political conditions, so the businesses, they do suffer, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, these are the constraints under which a business has to operate. Okay, you cannot ignore, you cannot close your eyes on these. At the same time, there are also business drivers. Okay, otherwise, what would have happened? Nokia, which became the top company, they would have remained top. Right now, we have so many brands that in the market, they wouldn't have been able to come up. Right, so companies that adapt to these changes do make big, right? So that's why success is not guaranteed. Startups, when somebody sets up their own startup, they expect that one day the company is going to become big, right? That's the hope with which they start a company. Now, if you know that big companies will always get all the pie, then you don't feel like starting a company, right? Because you are already lagging behind. So the point I'm trying to make here is that a company which is at top can lose the position. A company which is just a startup can gain the position if they handle these constraints carefully. Okay, but why am I talking about this when you talk about business analyst? Okay, because as a business analyst, this is what you do. Okay, you keep track of what's happening around the business, what impact this will have on your business. Okay, you are very close to your consumers. You keep an eye on competition, what new features they have added. Okay, and again, our study, our training would be closer to IT industry, but same concept we take to IT industry, right? Okay, we talk about Microsoft, right? Microsoft has to come up with new products, right? There's a competition from other companies to Microsoft. They need to keep track of what features are getting added by their competition, right? Okay, so as a business analyst, this is what we have to look at. Okay, you need to know your business, no doubt about it, but you have to keep an eye on outside thing, okay, which impacts your business. So even though you may be an IT business analyst, but your focus is always on business. Okay, you talk to consumers, people who are going to use your product. Okay, so any questions so far? All good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me take you back in history. Okay, 50 years back. Okay, most of these IT companies, they started with one person. Okay, or maybe group of 3 4 people deciding to make something. Okay, and they started developing. Okay, with one person or 4 persons or 5 persons, they started developing their product. Okay, then the companies became popular, right? People started liking their product. So when they started liking, they had to expand, right? They had to hire more people. So they started hiring people. Now you have 30 people working for a company, 40 people working for a company in same location. Okay, it becomes difficult to manage. Okay, but still, you are the same location, so you can have somebody keep tracking of everybody and can run it down on paper. But when company became even bigger, right, they had to hire people across geographies, across countries, across continents, right? Then the tracking and project management became very difficult. So IT industry took the clue from the construction industry, and they said, okay, how are they managing their big projects? Okay, so they are using something called as plan, build, test, implement, right? So they borrowed that. So when we talk about PMP, project management practices, this is what they did. Okay, so they first started talking about PMP, and this is okay, how do I manage? So okay, so before we build anything, let's plan what we need to build, who are the people going to work on these projects, and what would be their contribution, things like that. So they started planning. Okay, that's the planning phase. Then you performed build. Okay, build is when you start coding. So you have plan on paper, you know what you're going to build, you start typing, you start coding. So when code is ready, then you test the code. Make sure that test performs what you had planned originally. Okay, so there will be a team of QAs who will test the product, and then finally you go and deploy at the customer site. Okay, so plan, build, test, and implement at the customer site. This was the original practice. Now when you talk about um, agile, they said, okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, but just to give you a glimpse of what it is all about, here you are saying that, okay, why can't we make this? So earlier it was like one after another. You first plan, then you build, then you test, then implement. Now this cycle can take about 6 to 8 months, or sometimes 1 year. You had yearly release or 6 months release. The problem with that is, okay, when you start testing it, okay, and you find there's some problem, okay, it's already what, 3 months, 4 months down the line. You spend a month on planning, 2 months on coding, and again 2 months on testing. Okay, you're already 4 months late, and if you find something which is not as per, okay, as per plan, you have to go and redo the stuff. So they said, okay, why can't we make this continuous process? Instead of working for 2 months or 3 months on a piece of code, let's make it shorter. Let's make it 2 week, 1 week. Okay, so that if there is a change, we can implement it immediately. Okay, so this is how the project management practices was born. Okay, what you see on the screen is project management practices, where you plan, code, you test, and you implement at the customer side. But it was good initially, but it didn't work. Okay, why it didn't work? Okay, because here you are not talking about customer. Okay, you're not talking about customer, what customers want, right? The external factor which we spoke on the first slide. Okay, you build, okay, and you deploy, and customer says, no, this is not what I told you, right? Okay, you performed everything perfectly. You planned for 6 months release, exactly 6 months, your product is out, there's no defect, nothing, everything is good. But customer says, no, this is not what I want. Okay, you come here for a training, we spend 1 month, 1.5 months learning, and then after 1.5 months you say, no, this is not what I wanted, right? So what happened? Our entire effort, our entire you know work that we've done is all waste. So you need to involve customers right from beginning. Okay, that's what business analyst job is, to make customer aware of what's happening at every stage. So then we say, okay, no, okay, it's not going to work this way. We have to include customers. So before planning, this added couple more steps: describe and define. So first thing is, you describe the customer's pain point. Okay, what do they need? So first step is describe, understand, talk to them. Okay, again, that's what I said. Customers pain, customer, see, they customer may not be able to tell you exactly what they need. Many a times, okay, if you don't know about the BA topic, how will you tell me what topics you need? I can't ask you, okay, give me the syllabus, I'll teach you what you want. Because you are here because you want to know about BA. I can't keep asking you, give me the syllabus, right? So same thing with the business, right? Customer doesn't know the what the problem is, because if they knew the problem, they would have already fixed it. Okay, so as a business analyst, you need to understand the business. Okay, if you're talking to a finance banking customer, you need to understand about the banking process, right? That's why you'll be able to understand their language. You're not here, okay, more so you are here to understand their problem. Okay, not you. So I always give this example. Okay, when you go to a hotel, right? Okay, and let's say you go to Italian or French hotel restaurant. Okay, not hotel, restaurant. Let's say you go to a French restaurant, and you don't even know the food items, the dishes there they have, right? The waiter says, okay, here's the menu. Tell me, I'll note it down what you want. You are here for a first time, okay, and you don't know the dishes name. You can't even pronounce the name. You don't know what all those dishes are. Then how can you tell what you need? Okay, so this is an example of bad business analyst. Okay, you don't go to customer, say, okay, tell me what you want. Okay, 1 2 3 4, I'll get it done. No, your job is to explain. Okay, so this is this product, what is your rate? They'll ask you questions, right? Do you want more spicy, less spicy? Do you want veg, non-veg, they ask you all these questions, and then they tell you, out of the 30 items that we have, I would recommend these 4 items to you. That's the job of good business analyst. Okay, you first describe the pain point, you describe the needs of the customer. Okay, once you describe the need, okay, you let customers speak first. Okay, you hear them. That's called describe. Customer will describe, okay, this is the problem I'm facing. Okay, we have suddenly our business has grown big, we are getting a lot of customers to our center, we are not able to provide them services at right time. Our SLA, our, we promise them to get back to them in 1 week, but it's taking 15 days. Even then we are not able to solve. So these are, you hear them. Okay, then you start defining the solution. Then you say, okay, these are the 4 items that you will need. So okay, we are facing this problem, so okay, why don't you automate it? Okay, we'll create an application form where you fill in, or you let customer fill in automatically. Instead of you filling in, you can make some mistakes, so let customer fill in the information, so you are saving the time of getting the information from customer, manually typing it. So so we'll save some time there. Then when it comes, we will have an automatic approval process. So automatically this will get added to your account manager's dashboard, or her managers earlier later. And when both approvals are done, then it will go to the the finance department will approve it, and finally, so everything is automated, right? So it's a good to talk about automation, right? But then what is the problem, right? First you understand, and then so see, you go to a doctor, again another example, you go to doctor. Okay, when you go, and doctor will look at you and prescribe the medicine. Doctor may be great doctor, right? He can maybe looking at the patient only, he knows what sort of medicine or what kind of problem the patient has, but you are not able to build that trust, right? You will start doubting. You think, I didn't speak anything. The doctor, prescribed medicine to me. I mean, is it correct medicine, or should I take it or not? Right? Instead, if doctor starts conversing with you, okay, what is your problem? From when are you facing? Okay, do you get this? Do you see that? Is this what you get? So when they try to understand your problem first, okay, so good business are like good waiters, good doctors, who understands the problem. And that's where this describe phases and define phases. Define phases, now you prescribe, now you recommend, now you propose a solution. Okay, so business analyst is all about what customer wants, and your planning has to be based on the definition which customer has given to you. Okay, so now the picture is complete, we say. Okay, so when you talk about IT product development, it's not just plan, build, test, implement, but it is describe, define, and then plan, build, test, implement. Okay, so now when you talk about the business, okay, um, see, no business will come to you for sake of fun, right? They'll have some pain points. Okay, so there is a need for business. The need can come from pains, right? Nokia has a pain of losing market share. Okay, hopes, startup, they have hope that this the starting hope that one day they can become a big business, right? Fears, Apple, fear of losing, right? So that's why they will innovate. Okay, they don't want to lose their first position. Problems, okay, they're facing some problem, they're not able to um, say become more profitable, right? They're not able to charge more from customer, okay, because of competition, because of lack of features, whatever. So that's your job to come and say that, okay, because you do not have enough features, the customer needs ABC, you have only C, so you need to add A and B also to your product. So that's how you'll be able to gain more customer and become more profitable. Opportunities, okay, government says, okay, insurance sector open to public. Now suddenly for private companies becomes an opportunity, right? Regulatory government says you have to follow this, you have to record, you have to maintain this record. Now that's a mandate, you have to change your process. So your changing of business is very dynamic. Okay, so whether it's pain, hopes, fear, problems, opportunities, mandate, each of these factors will impact your business. So as a business analyst, you have to determine the need. Okay, now you cannot solve all the problems at one go, right? You can't, they say, right, you can't boil the ocean. So you have to take step by step. Okay, one problem statement, and then you, so this is a problem statement which describe phase. Then you add to that business facts. Okay, what is industry doing? Okay, what is government mandate? Okay, how much or what is the expectation of the customer? The external factors. Okay, and then your possibilities, conditions. These come from your external environment. So your company's need plus external environment is what will lead to a solution. You are defining a perfect solution. So the business analysis is all about that. It's all about business first. Okay, what business need? It's not like, okay, I'm feeling good today, let's develop a product, right? Or we have a lot of cash in our bank, let's develop a product. No, you have to start from business, what customer needs, right? And that's when you say, okay, let's get everything together and you deliver a solution. So the entire business analysis process is described in these steps. Okay, and also our syllabus will be on these modules. Okay, the first step is analyze the enterprise. Okay, what is the need of the business? I told you, right? Always the need. So you'll have these top guys, right? CXO guys. They will invite the team. Okay, they will dictate. Now, the when when CEO decides that, okay, this year we'll focus on customer. Okay, it's not that she dreamt of the night that, okay, we have to focus on customer, today morning she's talking about it. No, there's a month of effort that has gone into it. See, every company will have every problem. Okay, they'll have problem of product not being good, customer not buying, customer service bad. Okay, every company has those problems. But what is a bigger problem, right? You cannot, as I said, right, you cannot solve all the problems. So what is your bigger problem? And you take one problem. Okay, 1 year, one problem you focus. You take, okay, so let's say your why are they not renewing the services? What is the problem with the service, right? So that's the focus for this year. So that's they will go through a lot of records, a lot of analysis, and then they decide, okay, this is problem. Then the business analyst will get into it, analyze what is the problem. Okay, is it problem on the our side, whether it's like we are not able to provide service? Is it a service problem, the product problem, is it sales problem, right? So you analyze and then you come up with a report and you present that report to the management decision makers. Okay, now decision makers will look what we call it as this business case. Okay, so the step one is to develop a business case. You present it back to the management saying, okay, we analyze and these are the factors because of which we are not doing good. If we process this, we are going to get this benefit and the cost. So business analyst will have the problem statement, the benefit, how to. So we are not going to solve right now. Okay. So at a high level, you say, okay, these are the areas where we need to invest. These are the areas we need to make changes to, and this is the cost that we will incur. And if you put this much cost, this is the benefit we are going to get. So your business case will not only talk about business, we also talk about the cost and also about the returns that you're going to get. Okay, and you present it to the business. Business will ask you a lot of questions because it's an investment, right? And and let's say the worst thing could be that you're trying to solve a problem which is really not a problem. So they are going to ask you questions. If they are not satisfied, they'll ask you to go and redo. That's why there's a loop here. Go no go means the management is giving you go ahead or no go. No go means you have to go back and redo the work or your business case is rejected. Go means company says yes, what you have done is right. We are with you. Let's go ahead and do it. Once you give go, then there's no stopping back. There's no loop then. Okay, it all goes then from A to Z. Okay, so the first is the business case, which talks about the problem areas, the solution, and the benefit that you're going to get by implementing. Obviously, benefit has to be many folds than the cost. If cost of making the changes is $1 million, you expect to get at least 10-20 million dollar return. Otherwise, why would you invest that money? Okay, so that's the go ahead, and then every other step starts. Define the vision and scope. We talking about defining the vision. Okay, and see, there you have a rectangle box and you have a box with a cut at the bottom. Cut at the bottom is a document. So this is a process, and that's the document. So every process has a document. So business analyst, okay, first skill that you need is business, And second skill you need is communication skills. Be able to record, document correctly. Okay, so you have a vision scope, you define the vision and what is the scope of the work. As I said, you cannot change the entire organization in 1 year, right? So you say, okay, this scope will is limited to the support organization only. Okay, we'll focus on the way it could be training, it could be giving buying new tools, whatever, right? So this is the focus for this year. Then you start planning the requirements. Okay, and requirements, okay, in the business case at a high level talking about the changes, but here you are planning every step with timeline. Okay, this is the step one we'll do and this is the timeline. Then so you might have 10 steps, some steps could be done parallelly, some should be done sequential. You identify those things. Okay, you identify the people responsible for doing those things. Okay, and then you are doing elicit requirement. Elicit requirement is getting the exact requirements. Okay, so this is the actual BA process. When you talk about core BA activities, this is the core BA activity. In theory there's nothing, but in practical this is the key where you are talking to customer. Okay, it could be in-house project or it could be you're working for somebody else, right? You're a service provider, IT service provider, TCS, Accenture, working for a bank. Okay, that's an example of you providing service to somebody else. Okay, bank will have their own teams, right? Retail store, Walmart may have their own teams. So it could be in-house project. In-house project also, you're going and talking to your internal customer then. Okay, because you as a business analyst will have to develop product for operations team or in this case support team, right? So you're talking to support team, trying to understand their daily activity, what is the problem they are facing, how are they handling it today, what can help them to do it better. So these are the things that you're going to ask them. Then you analyze and document the requirements. So see, every step, the documentation and the process is together. But here, documentation is so important, okay, that documentation is treated as a separate process altogether, right? So the main, the core of our training or our learning will be this requirements elicitation and then documenting that. Okay, you end up creating what is called BRD, SRS document. So we'll talk about BRD, business requirement document. We'll talk about software requirements specifications. Okay, so that is done. Then that SRS goes to, so BRD is purely your job, business analyst job. SRS is job of joint effort of BA and software team. Okay, and then when SRS is created, the technical team takes over and they create technical documents, implement, test it, and then comes back to you. Okay, so when the implementation and testing is being done, we are responsible to make sure that those are happening on time and follows all the practices, but we are not so much involved there. We are just supervising. But when it is done, when the testing is done, again we come into picture. Okay, then we take the product and go and deploy at the customer site. Okay, so this is the entire business analyst process, and this is what I had planned for today. Do let me know if you have any questions.
So the first two steps that you said, analyze the enterprise and decision package. If after those two steps, the business doesn't approve, so it goes again back to analyze, or
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go back to the customer.
Yeah, yes. Again, you go back and analyze because your process was probably not sufficient. Okay, you are not able to convince your business team, or your process lacked some analysis. Okay, which okay, wait, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So your process lacked some some analysis. So you go back to your boardroom and redo the stuff again. So see here, okay. So here,
Go back to the boardroom means go back to the customer and gather more information, or just go back with whatever information you have already gathered.
okay. So all the external factors that we discussed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everything comes into this.
Okay.
Okay, so you go back to customer, you go back to your boardroom to study the competition, right? You look at industry report, what industry is talking about. You look at the if you're talking to if your intention is to meet a goal, government will say in next 3 years you have to implement that. You go back and
Okay.
see, what is the fine lines of those point. Are you going to meet those requirements or not? So everything that we did, we discussed
Mm-hmm.
in slide one, that is the input to all this.
Okay.
Okay, those are input to your business case, and generally this is done by senior person, okay, senior BAs, not
Okay.
yeah, when you don't have, I mean, probably you expect to have more than 10, 15 years of experience. Those are senior people who have access to the to all the reports, all the information about the company,
Okay.
and they can influence, right? They can influence decision of a CEO or say
Yeah.
VP, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
So as a as somebody who is just beginning, or not with a lot of experience, so the orange part that you highlighted as analysis, that's where those people come in, right?
Correct. And
Analyzing and
analysis,
documenting the
and
requirements.
correct. So analysis and execution. So,
Okay.
somebody who has more, see, for BA, you can come from technical
Or
background also,
non-technical.
or you come from business background also.
Yeah.
If you're coming from business background, you'll be more involved at execution level, talking to customer directly. Okay,
Okay.
when you come from technical background, you will be more so on the analysis part, documenting, talking to BA. And so BA is not just one, okay, there are multiple roles, the
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
teams, yeah. So analysis is more when you understand the technical part, okay. So
Okay.
when you come from business side, you start at elicitation or the execution phase, and you also try to learn analysis phase. So you go down and understand analysis phase. Somebody who's coming from technical background, they start from analysis phase and they try to go up to learn about the execution phase or about the business phase.
Okay.
So so these two is overlap, because whatever you talk has to be documented, right? in a
Yeah.
so it is like you are a translator, okay. You 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 talk to customer on business language, and you talk to technical team in the technical language.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Any other question?
Oh,
No, Gaurav, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So we'll end it here.
Same
Thank you
time
so
tomorrow?
much. We'll tell you about time, okay?
Okay.
We'll discuss with the team and we'll let you know the time.
Okay. Okay, Gaurav, thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you. Yeah, take care. Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.